yellow. Look how cute are these. Do you see?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Which one do you want to take? Wow. Look at this, how much cute is this? Oh, or this color. Which one do you want? Tell me. Choose one.
This one.
Where it is? That one? The big one?
The big one.
Oh, wow. All of the colors. Good morning, my loves. I'm so happy you could join me for this very cozy, crisp autumn morning. I've really been craving a lovely slow morning filled with self-care, a little bit of me time to recharge, to recharge my batteries. This would be perfect little routine for self-care day or maybe a Sunday morning. It's definitely time to get yourself a warm drink or coffee, light a candle, get under a blanket, and take 1 hour or so to just relax. It's time for the first coffee of the day. Honestly, is there anything better than the first sip of coffee in the morning? Now October is here, the weather is starting to get a little colder and cozier, so I decided to have a cozy, relaxing morning. And of course, not every morning looks like this, especially with 2 babies. Okay, they become toddlers now, and despite that fact, these types of morning are extremely rare. And if you're a mother, you're gonna understand me. I hope you find this video peaceful and motivating. The start of a new season always motivates me, especially, I don't know, there's something about autumn. It might be the cozy feel. Each season just brings its own energy. It's a great time to reset routine and habits. I wanted to get up nice and early, make time for me, not feel rushed. So don't be hard on yourself. That's what I bought from Migros Market. So I really like this one. Do you see? It has 2 colors and it's so beautiful. That was my favorite. And the second one is this green color with yellow. The third one, it's like light green color. And this small cute one. Look how cute is this? It's so small. And the last one is the white color. So I really would like to make a decoration with these. So maybe we can put them here in a basket like that. Here. Okay, and that one. And this. And thus we have our pumpkin basket. Okay, so for today we're gonna make 2 easy recipes. The first of which is gonna be pumpkin shaped hand pies, as it's pumpkin season. In addition to pumpkin soup, pumpkins are all over the place today. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and get started with this very simple dough. And that we begin with 1 cup of warm milk. Okay, not room temperature, not hot, somewhere in between. And then over that we'll sprinkle 1 package of dry active yeast, plus a tablespoon or so of honey. Alright, exactly how much depends on how sweet you want these, but generally a holiday dinner roll should have a little bit of sweetness to it. And then we're also gonna want to add a generous amount of melted butter, about 1/4 cup, preferably from cows eating grass for a living. Then we will go ahead and give that a quick stir before finishing this up with our flour, nearly about 3 cups. And as usual, we will hold a little bit back so we can knead that in later. And that's it. We go ahead and take our most experienced wooden spoon and start stirring all these together, and we will keep stirring until we formed almost a dough. Alright, so we want everything to sort of pull together, and as that dough picks up the flour on the surface, it will become less sticky and smoother and more elastic. And if everything goes according to plan, eventually we will end up with a very soft, fairly elastic but not too much sticky dough. And by the way, if your dough is picked up all that flour and it's still sticky, just sprinkle over some more and just keep sprinkling until it's just right. And at this point, we should be able to shape these into a ball of dough that holds its shape and stays nice and round. And when we give it a push with our fingers, that dough springs back. So this is look just about perfect. And then once that's been accomplished, we go ahead and transfer that into a lightly buttered bowl, and then we will cover it and let it sit in a warm place for about an hour or until it doubles in size. And then while we're waiting for that to happen, the other bread we could do is cut some pieces of string about 8 to 10 inches long, and we're gonna need 4 by roll. And then once those are cut, we'll transfer them into a bowl and toss them in a little bit of vegetable oil. And we just need enough to coat, and I have no idea why I provided so much in. But anyway, we go ahead and simply set those aside until we're ready to bind our balls of dough. Okay, we still have time for the dough to be ready, so I decided to make pumpkin soup next to that, which I consider of the ultimate autumn special occasion first soup. So to get started, we need to prep our Hokkaido squash by cutting off both ends, and then what we do is cut halfway in, cutting down and all the way through, and then once it's split, let's go ahead, take a spoon and remove the seeds. And if you want, once all those seeds are scraped out, you can actually separate those from all that sticky slimy fiber stuff and then roast them and eat them. Or you can do what I do, which is scrape them up and throw them right in the garbage. And then what we do once our squash has been split and seeded is simply cut it up into chunks about the size you see here. And by the way, you don't have to peel this pumpkin because Hokkaido skin is perfectly thin and edible, so just leave it on. And then once this is cut up, we have a big decision to make here. Are we gonna roast it in the oven, or are we gonna add it as it is? And for me, I'm not gonna roast it. I'll add it as it is, which is gonna provide something lighter and brighter, a lover not a fighter. So we're gonna use it raw, and once that's set, we're gonna mince 1 big onion. It really doesn't matter here if you wanna dice it or mince it, because we're gonna blend that in a blender later on, so whatever your choice is. Next step is gonna adding a little bit of oil in a pot, and then to that we're gonna add our onion as well as our pumpkin chunks, a big pinch of turmeric powder, along with 1 tablespoon of salt and a pinch of black pepper and ginger. Last but not least is 1 tablespoon of honey. And this is optional, so you can skip it if you want. Then we're gonna go ahead and stir that in for about 2 minutes or so, just until it starts to caramelize, and turn brown. At which point we can go ahead and add 4 to 5 cups of water, and we will let that simmer for half an hour or until these chunks of squash are very, very tender. Not sort of tender, really tender. So cover it and let it take its time. And then once those are soft and tender, and of course the way you're gonna tell is by testing these with a fork, and once we are sure of that, we'll proceed to blend these until completely smooth. And for that, those stick blenders are very convenient. So blend these until 100% chunk free, and believe or not, that's it. So give that one last taste, and assuming it's nice and hot and seasoned exactly how we want, this is incredibly easy soup is done. And hopefully you can see this is not too thick. This is exactly the texture that you want. And if there is a more beautiful orange color in the universe, I would really look forward to seeing that, because to me this is just stunning. I mean, there's no way to look at that color and not be happy. Go ahead, try it. Okay, let's go back to our dough now. So we go ahead and deflate it, and then transfer it to our table and try to press it down. And thanks to this dough having so much butter in it, we probably don't have to flour the surface, but if for whatever reason yours is sticky, go ahead. And then once this was pressed down, I went ahead and split it in half and then in quarters until you have sort of 8 equal pieces of dough. And then what we'll do once we've cut this into some hopefully equal sized pieces is roll each piece into a nice round bowl, and we do that by cupping our hand over the dough. And then we just sort of press it lightly and use a circular motion, and you will end up with something beautifully round and relatively smooth. So I did that all 8 of my portions, at which point we're gonna cover them and let them rest for 15 minutes. You can do that by using a kitchen towel or lightly oiled plastic wrap. And then once our dough has been rested for 15 minutes, we can proceed to tie it up, and to accomplish that, we will place 4 pieces of string down as shown, and then we go ahead and transfer our dough on with the smoothest side down. And then one at a time, we'll take each string and tie it together using simple square knot at the top. We don't want to do it too tight where it's actually cutting into the dough. And then once we've made that knot at the top, we go ahead and snip off the excess. And I know it looks like wasting string and we could have made these shorter, but oiled string is fairly harder to handle. So having a little bit extra string does make things easier. And as we finish these, we go ahead and transfer them onto a seal bat or any lined baking sheet with the knot side down. Okay, very important, knot side down. Alright, so I went ahead and did that to all 8 of mine, which really only took me 10 minutes. And then what we do once all our dough balls have been bound and tied is simply cover them and let them sit in a warm spot for about 30 minutes or so, which is when all the magic happens. Check it out. And of course, once those are baked, that's gonna give them their beautiful little pumpkin look. And then to finish these off, we're gonna do one optional thing. It would be to sift a little bit of flour over the top. And that's it. Once all that's said, these are ready to transfer into the center of 180 degrees Celsius oven for about 25 minutes, or until lightly browned and looking like the most adorable thing you've ever seen. Oh yeah, the cuteness factor here is off the charts. And to finish these, what we have to do is remove the strings, but we have to let them cool before you do that. Alright, wait till literally warm, otherwise you'll probably crush them. And once these cool down, we'll take our scissors and cut through all 4 pieces of string at the top, then carefully peel down and remove these strings, and that's it. Once the strings are gone, we go ahead and put a little bit piece of crackers in the middle so it represents the stems, and as we transfer that onto a green garnished platter, I really did think they look great, and trust me, so will your guests. And of course, as I always like to remind folks, when we do something like this, it doesn't matter how pretty or cool something looks if it doesn't also taste amazing, and these really did. Alright, these are very light and buttery with just a hint of sweetness and would pair perfectly with your holiday menus, but anyway, whether you use these to make gorgeous little sandwiches or just as a good old-fashioned delicious tea and gorgeous to look at dinner roll, either way, I really do hope you give it a try soon. And as for the soup, I'm gonna swirl in a little bit of fresh cream and then top that with some freshly snipped parsley to help give it that extra festive holiday occasion look. And that's it, what we're really calling Hokkaido Bisque is done. Thanks for watching, and if you liked my video, please make sure to subscribe, like, follow and share so it can help me get more people to reach Latakian's Noor Kitchen. See you later!